Sorry guys, recording has not started. Right now just started. Thank you for pinging who is ping Kumar P. Okay, so in this case you can see this is the for each loop which you can use to access all the elements of the ArrayList collection class. And this is another syntax in the sense, in this case I'm using collection initializer. Collection initializer means while creating the ArrayList, right, I can directly initialize the element of this ArrayList collection. And this is nothing but your collection initializer. Again, you can access the element by using the for each loop like this. So let me put the read key statement here and show you the output. So this is the collection initializer, means we are initializing the collection at the time of its declaration. And here I'm initializing by using the add method. Right now run the application and see the output. See, 101 James, this is null, this is empty, true, and this is empty for null, right? The same thing you can see here. So for empty and for null, it is going to print blank, right? So any question of how to create a collection and how to initialize the collection of ArrayList?
Can you show object initializer with some user defined like class I have created like employees?
Yeah, that you can store. Class employee, right? I'm creating integer ID. But in this case, while accessing the elements using class initializer, right? This one.
Yes.
Employee emp equals to new employee. And what is the IT? I'm providing IT as 101, right? I'm using name as 102, right? You can pass emp here. But in this case, it is not going to print the ID and name, but rather it is going to give the fully qualified name of this employee instance, right? Let me run the application. See, C# 8 features dot employee. Why it is giving me C# 8 features? Okay. Okay, ArrayList demo public class. Okay, let me provide the class name as program. See, this is the namespace name and this is the class name. So you can access. But if you are trying to convert, so basically why I am not getting any exception, because in this case, any type of data, this object variable can store. You can see the item type is going to be object, because this ArrayList is operate on an object data type. Clear?
Okay.
Right. So you can store any type. So in this case, I'm showing only the built-in data type. Even you can store this user-defined data types, right? So once you start a generic collection, right, at that time, I will show you every example using this employee, or you can say using the user-defined data type, because these non-generic classes are rarely used, right? But the generic classes are used frequently in your real-time application. But this is possible, right? You can store any kind of values. Any question from anyone?
No.
Guys?
No.
Okay. How to access the element? So if you go to the ArrayList definition, it implement IEnumerable. So IEnumerable means you can use for each loop. And when it implement IList means you can access the classes by using the index position, right? And iCollection means it's a collection class, and iClonable means you can also clone the collection, right? So we have discussed enumerable. We have used this for each loop means because of this enumerable. As this class implement enumerable, so you can access the element by using a for each loop, right? Even if you would see this ArrayList class implement the iList interface, right? As this iList interface, we can access the element of this collection by using the indexer, right? The start indexer or the start index position is going to 0 and it increase for each subsequent element, right? Let us see how we can do this. So guys, remember, if it is implementing iClonable means you can clone the collection. If it is implementing okay, let me show you once more. iList means you can access the element by using the index position. iCollection means if any class to become a collection, then he has to implement iCollection interface. Enumerable, if the class is implemented, then that means you can access that collection by using the for each loop. And iClonable means you can clone the class, right? We will discuss everything, right? We have discussed this. Now we are going to discuss this one, iList, right? So in this case, you can see I'm creating an array list. I'm storing few elements, right, of different types. Now, if you want to access the individual elements, then you need to use the index position. So what is the index position? For this item, the index position is going to 0. For this one, the index position going to be 1. For this index position 2, and for this index position is going to be 3. So the first element means the index position is going to be 0. But if you remember, the array list is operate on which data type?
Object.
Object data type. So if you want to store this, you know, this is an integer variable, and you want to store that value inside an integer variable means what you need? You need to do typecasting. So boxing and unboxing is required, right? And the second element is available in the index position 1, right? So, and in this case, you can see if you are trying to convert this second element to an integer type, then you will get this error, right? Because this is a string value, and this string value cannot be converted to integer data, right? So this statement is going to throw you some error. So the first element and second element I have access like this, right? And if you don't want to integer string, right, then if you don't want to do this kind of typecasting, then you can use var first item, var second item. But in this case, this first item, can anybody tell me what is the type of this first item? What is the type of the second item in this case? Okay, tell me, this array list is operate on which data type? This array list collection is operate if we are storing any data into this collection, then data is going to be stored in which format? Integer, character, float, or object? Which format?
Object.
Object format. If we are storing the data in object format, if we are retrieving the data from the collection, then that retrieved data is also going to be in object format or any other format?
Object format.
Object format. And in this case, we typecast so that we can store that data in that specific type. In this example, are we typecasting the data to any specific format?
No,
No, it is generic.
No, we are not typecasting. If we are not typecasting, then based on the right hand side value, the data type will be decided. So what type of value it is going to return?
Based on data type.
Object only, because array list is operate on object data type. It is going to store the data in object format, and if you are retrieving any data, then the data retrieved data is also going to be in object format, na?
Yes.
Right. So in this case, this var keyword will check the right hand side value. Yes, the value in the right hand side is of object type. So based on the value, it will decide that the data type of this first item is going to be object. In this case, the data type is going to be object. But now Okay, in the second case, what I'm trying to do is I'm converting this to string. So as I'm converting this to string, that means this is going to return object, but I'm doing typecasting to a string. That means the right hand side value will convert to string. So based as this right hand side value is a string, so var will decide now the second item type is going to be string. But in this case, for first item, it is going to be object because we are not doing unboxing. But in this case, we are unboxing. We are typecasting this to string. So we will get the data in the form of a string. Clear or not?
Clear.
And then once you access, right, the data like this, even though you can also set the value like this. Array list of 0. Initially, array list of 0 means what the first element contain 101. Now I'm replacing that with Smith. Array list of 1, I'm replacing with a different value. Array list of 5 equals 5 index out of bound exception. In this case, array list of 5, you will get some exception. Because in this case, the array list currently having only size 4. And you are trying to update, right? You are trying to update the index position 6, which is not available. You can add, right? If it is available, then you can update. If it is not available, that location is not available, then how you can update? Understand my point or not? If you want to add element, you can add any number of element. And once you add one element, then you can update that element like this. But if there is no element, right, the size of this collection currently is 4. And I mean, if currently 4 means the index position from 0 to 3, and you are trying to update the index position which is 5. This is not possible because in this this index position is not available in this collection. Then how you can update? Understanding my point or not?
Yeah.
Guys?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, so now you can access the element by using the for each loop like this. So now run the application and you will see the output. That's okay. Why I'm not getting the output? Because I have to use this console.read key method to see the output. See? So first element 101, second element change, first item 2, second item this, then this one, right? So if you want to see all the elements, then you can just do this operation to make sure, right? So initially these are the 4 value. After updating the first 2 elements, this is the value, right? This is the first element, this is the second element, this is the first item, this is the second item. In this case, we are doing typecasting. In this case, we are not doing typecasting. So it is going to be in the object format. And in this case, after updating the first and second value, so we are getting this result, right? So this is how you can access the element. So using the for each loop, you can access the element, or by using the index position, you can access individual elements. Clear?
Sir, one doubt I have.
Yeah.
Like in console.writeLine, we are writing first item, right? It is basically object type, right? So will it going to return the value, or it will directly return like system.object?
No, it is going in this case, first of all, you need to check. See, which in this case, it is going to be a value because we are not storing any address. We are storing 101. Right, so that value it is going to return. But if it is going to be a class type, then that address is going to be written.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Now, how to iterate, right? So in this case, we have discussed how to create an item, right? How to create a collection. We have discussed how to access the elements of a collection by using a for each loop and by using the index position. Now we are going to discuss how to iterate a collection, right, of array list. So same example, I'm creating one collection, right? I'm adding some elements. So in this case, you can use var item in array list. Each item we just need to hand over this collection to the for each loop. Then the for each loop will iterate over this collection, and each time it iterates, that item will be stored inside this variable, and I'm just printing that. Even though we can also use a for each loop. We can also use the for loop because it implements the iList collection as implement iList. So we can access the element by using the index position. And for that, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to create a for loop, which is going to start from 0. This is my loop variable, which is start from 0. And then I'm using the ArrayList.count. So what is this count property means? This count property is going to return me the number of elements that the array list content. So gets the number of elements actually contained in the array list. So in this case, the number of elements in this array list is 4. So this count property is going to return me 4. So this loop will run from 0 to I less than 4 means as soon as I value becomes 4, this condition satisfied. So it will run for 0, 1, 2, and 3. And each time it will execute, I'm accessing the array list element by using that index position. So by using this two mechanism, right, by using the for loop as well as by using the for each loop, you can access or you can iterate through the collection. Individually, you can access the element, but you can also access all the elements by using the for loop and by using the for each loop, right? Any question from anyone related to this example? Guys, any question from anyone? Hello? What happened, guys? Be participate, don't be ideal. Right? You have to say something now, otherwise how I can understand whether you understand the concept or not.
Sir, we are understanding due to some cup problem, so I am muting myself.
Yeah, that is fine, but the problem should not be for everyone. Na?
Yeah, sir.
It should not be like that. I'm only saying something. It should not be like, so what I'm thinking, you know, okay, people are joining the session, mute themselves, and they just go outside and doing their task. The thinking for me like this.
No, okay. No, this is very like that.
Right. So because if you are not participating, if you are not saying a single word, then what I can understand? You are not here in the session. You are just joining the session, mute yourself and go out. You are just outside. If I'm saying something, if I'm asking whether you are understanding or not, you should answer me whether you understand or not. You should not be ideal.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Because see, the thing is that there should be some interest, right? If you are not showing interest to attend the session, then my interest is also going to be down. Right? Instead of explaining each method, each concept, I'm only going through 1-2 methods showing the insert object. That's it, and I will come to the go to the next class, right? Then why I'm going to show and explain all these things? If you are not showing interest, then I will definitely complete the course in the next 1 month. And I'm not sure how much you are going to understand. Okay. So now, next, what I'm trying to show you how to insert elements into a specified index position. So in this case, you can see I'm creating a collection of array lists, right? And that collection I'm using collection initializer to initialize some elements. So currently, this collection having some 4 elements: 101, gens 2, and 10.20. So what my intention is, I want to insert a new element in the first position. That means this 101 should become the second element, and what element I'm going to insert, that should be insert at the first location. Is this possible? Yes, this is possible. How? By using the insert method. Right? By using this insert method, which is provided by the ArrayList class, you can insert the element at any index position. So now tell me, if I want to insert the first, if I want to insert one element in the first position, if I want that element to be the first element in the array list collection, then what should be the index position of that element? That element index position should be 0.
0.
And after 0, you can provide the element that you want to insert. Similarly, if I want to insert an element in the index position 3, that means if that element is going to be the fourth element, then what should be the index position? Can anybody tell me?
Index 3.
Index 3. So that means if I want to insert that element into the fourth location, then the index position should be 3. Fourth location means after James, that element should be printed. First element is their first element. This is my second element. This is my third element, and it should be going to be my fourth element, right? Fourth element, and the index position is going to be 3. See, in this case, you can see this is my original array. I have inserted one element in the beginning, and I have inserted another element at the specified index position. Now if I want to add another element which is going to be the last element inside this array list, then what I need to do? What I need to do? Can anybody tell me which method I need to call? Simply call the last method. Na? So what is this add method is going to do? Last element. This add method is going to add the element at the end of the collection. End of the collection means this is nothing but your last element. Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
So insert method, if you want to insert any element at any specified index position, you have to use insert method. And if you simply need to add the element at the end of the collection, then you need to call this add element.
Okay.
The size will increase, the array size.
Yes. The size will be increased automatically. So in this case, the array size is going to be 4. Okay, so let me do one thing. Console dot write line. Array list dot capacity. Right here, I'm writing array list dot capacity. Right. So I'm doing this. So what I'm doing, right? So let me run the application. See, the initial capacity is 4, and then as you add the fifth element, so it will become 8. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me simplify this a little better. Right, I initially created this array list object. Right, I'm not going to use this default initializer. I'm going to use the array list dot add method. So add method. So I'm adding 101. I'm adding gems here. Right. So what I'm literally going to do, I'm calling this method initial capacity. Then I'm calling this initial capacity. Then I'm adding the rest of the element 2 and 10.20. Right. So let me remove this one. So what I'm showing, default capacity. This is the default capacity. Yes or no? This is the default capacity, means once you created the array and if you have not stored any element, capacity after how many elements?
2 elements.
Capacity after 2 elements. This is capacity after 4th elements, right? Here what I'm trying to do is capacity after 5th element. This is capacity after 6th element, and this is capacity after 7th element, right? Now run the application. See, initially what is the default capacity? Initially you created the array and you have not added the elements, right? And as you have not added the element, the capacity is 0. After you adding 2 elements, the capacity becomes 4. Then you added 2 elements, still the capacity is 4. And when you add the 5th element, the capacity becomes 8. That means initially what it does is once you add making a group of 4 elements, right? So if you are not adding any 0, once you add the first element, the capacity becomes 4. As long as you add 4 elements, the capacity remains the same. Once you add the 5th element, the capacity becomes 8. Right? Now what I'm going to do is after the 7th element, right? What I'm doing, I'm adding 2 more elements, right? I'm adding 2 elements, and this is nothing but your 9th capacity after 9. So in this case, you will see again the size is going to be increased, right? So 4, then it becomes double 8. Then once you add the 9th element, right, the capacity will become double 8 double what 16, then it will become 32. So in this way it is going to allocate the memory, right? And another option is there. What is that option? The default initial capacity you will provide. I'm providing, you will see that there are 2 overloaded versions. This is the constructor which doesn't take any parameter, and this is the initial default capacity. So if I'm not providing any value, then the initial default capacity is going to be 0. And in this case, I'm providing 2. So the default capacity is going to be 2. Right? See, default capacity 2, then it will become 4, 8, 16. Suppose I'm providing this default capacity as 3. Then what will happen? See, 3, 6, then 6 into 2, what will happen? 3 will be double into 6. 6 will be double into 12. Then the next one is going to be 24. Understand how the capacity is going to be increased?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Understand? Yes. So this is how the capacity or the size of the collection is going to increase automatically. Always, if you are not providing the default capacity, then it will consider 4 elements as one group, right? Initially, and once 4 is completed, then it will make the capacity as 8. Once 8 element completed, it will make the capacity as 16. Once 16 completed, and when you are the 17th element, it will make the capacity as 32. Right? But if you provide the default capacity as 3, after the 3rd element, when you are the 4th element, you will see the capacity will become double. What is the double of 3? 3 into 3 plus 3, it is going to be 6. Then 6 plus 6, it is going to be 12. Then 12 plus 12, once you are the 13th element, it will be going to be 24. Understand?
Yes.
Sir,
Basically doubling.
Yeah, doubling. So once the size is reached, when you add the next item, the size is going to be double.
okay. So this size of one capacity will be the same, like paragraph.
Yeah, it's going to capacity and size is going to be same.
No, size like and this size of can be used here also, or only it will be like in primitive type?
Sorry?
Size of will be.
No, size of you can use only with the built-in data type, right? Which are integer type, or there you can use that integer type to know what is the size of integer, size of a character.
Okay.
So in this case, you cannot use. right? So in this case, the capacity will determine because see, you cannot use the size because some of the element are integer, some of the elements are string, some are boolean, right? Different types of. So here the capacity.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Right. So, and you understand this concept of what is the, so here I basically mean to say the insert method, right? Insert method means it will insert the element at the specified index position, right? And when you want to add an element at the end of the collection, then you need to use the add method. This is the difference between insert and add. Insert means it will insert the element at a specified index position, and add means it will add the element at the end of the collection. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So this insert method, and there is a method called insert range. See, if you are going to add one elements, then insert method is fine, right? But in this case, you can see I'm having one collection which contains this element, right? This is my array list elements, and having another collection, right? And this another collection is having this number of elements, right? Sri Lanka, Japan, Britain. Now what I want is, now I want these elements to be inserted at the from the index position, right? This is my index position 0, right? Currently the index position for this one, the index is 0. Yes or no? For this one, the index position is, what is the index position of this one? 1.
1.
Right? But now what I want is, I want to insert these 3 elements in between after the index position 1. Right? This is a collection. This is another collection, right? But I want this collection to be inserted after the index position 1. That means I want this collection to be inserted from the index position 2. Is that possible? Yes, that is possible. So in this case, I cannot use the index method, right? Insert method. Why? Because insert method will insert a single element. But in this case, it is not going to insert a single element. Rather, it is going to insert a new collection, right? And if that is your scenario, then what method you need to use? You need to use the insert range method, right? You can see this insert range method. I want to insert this array list 2 inside this array list 1 from the index position. Clear? This array list 2, what you are having here, will be inserted inside this array list 1, but from the index position. So this is my first array list. And then after inserting the elements from the index position 2, this is my array list 2. So now if you run the application, then you will see that the Sri Lanka, Japan, and Britain is going to be stored after the USA. India, USA, then Sri Lanka, Japan, Britain, UK, Nepal. Clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Right. This is the insert range method. Now we have understand that is how to create a collection of array list, how to add elements using the add method, right? How we can iterate over the collection using for each loop and using for loop, how we can access the individual element by using the index position, right? How we can insert element at any specified index position, how we can insert a range of elements into a specified position. All these things we have discussed, right? Now we are going to discuss how to remove elements from the collection. See, to remove element from the collection, we have 3 types of methods. One is the remove method. So this remove method, you need to provide the element that you want to remove, and if that element available multiple times, then the first occurrence of that element is going to be removed. For example, okay, I will show you that practically. Let me explain the concept, right? So in this case, you have to specify the element that you want to remove. The first occurrence of that element is going to be removed. Index at means from a particular index position, if you want to remove one element, then you have to use this remove at method, and you have to specify the index position. And remove range means if you want to remove 3 elements from the index position 2, then you have to use this remove range element. Here you need to provide the index as 2, and the number of elements that you want to remove is going to be your second parameter. So there are three different ways that you can use to remove elements. Apart from these three, we are also having one method called clear. That clear method is going to remove all the elements from the collection, right? Let us see these things practically. Right. So in this case, you can see this is my array list, and this array list having these elements, right? So Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong is here. So what I'm trying to do, Hong Kong is also here. That means this Hong Kong elements available how many times in my collection?
2 times.
2 times. And here I'm using the remove method and I'm passing Hong Kong, right? This will remove the first occurrence of the element. So in this case, this is it will search, it will search, it will search, it will search, and here it found that Hong Kong is available. So it will remove that element, and from that element it is going to return. He will not remove the second occurrences, right? He will only remove the first occurrences, right? So here I'm printing all the elements. Then I'm removing the element Hong Kong. After removing the element Hong Kong, I'm using a for each loop to print all the elements to make sure that Hong Kong is removed from this place, not from this one, right? Then remove art3, right? Once you remove art3 means what? Now from index position 3, the element is going to be removed. So this is index position 0, 1, 2, and 3. That means in this case, the element Nepal will be removed, and you will see that once I look this, so that Nepal element will not be available anymore, right? And remove range 0 or 2 means what? Now from the index position 2, 0, 1, 2, from this 2 index position, it is going to remove. Okay, so 0 means from the starting. So from the starting means India. And it is going to remove 2 elements. In this case, 2, 2, you can also write 2, 2. That means from index position 2, it is going to remove the element. If I'm passing index position 0, that means it is going to remove the element from the part. Now, let me run the application and show you this thing practically. Right. So this is my array element. So you can see Hong Kong is here, Hong Kong is here. This is my original array list element. Then I remove Hong Kong. After removing Hong Kong, you can see still Hong Kong is there as the last element, because this Hong Kong element is removed, but this element is not removed. Clear? First method. What is this remove method is doing? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then I'm removing the removing one element by using the index position, and here I'm passing the index position as 3. After removing the Hong Kong element, this is my array list, right? Don't think that this is your array list. After removing the array list become this one, and from this array list, what is the index position 3? Which element is there in the index position 3? 0, 1, 2, 3. So Nepal is the index position 3. So after removing the element Nepal from the array list, you can see this is your original. This will be the current array list. India, USA, UK, Sri Lanka. See, Nepal is removed. And once you remove the first 2 elements from the collection, right? This is your current collection. First 2 elements removed means India, US is removed, and you can see the rest of the elements are there in the collection. UK, Sri Lanka, Japan, Britain, and Hong Kong. Clear or not? How these 3 methods are working?
So after each iteration,
Yes.
the list gets truncated. And after the truncation, whatever.
Truncation, there is no such called a truncation. Element is simply removed from your bucket. Suppose your bucket having 10 pen and you sell 1 pen, then how many pens will be there in your bucket?
9.
This is the same thing is here.
Yeah.
Your
Okay.
collection having 10 elements. Once you remove 1, means that element is removed from your collection. You cannot get back that.
Okay.
Clear?
So what about the capacity?
Capacity, say once you increase the capacity, then the way it is increasing, that will be your capacity. Okay, let me show you the capacity, right? So what I can do is, capacity is going to be the same the way we have discussed, right? So you can see this is my array list dot capacity, right?
Sir, every time we rerun the application, will it calculate, right? The ArrayList, the capacity will be calculated, right?
Sorry.
Like every time we rerun the application, it will calculate the capacity, right?
I didn't understand what you were saying. Every time we run the
Like, like
app-
when the application is restarted,
yes.
that ArrayList capacity will be calculated. Correct, right? That
See,
way
every
it will
time,
work, right?
see, every time you run the application will going to start from this main method. Everything is going to be happen again and again. So you are running the application means it's a new again this collection is going
Iteration,
to
basically iteration, right?
iteration. Yeah. So
Okay.
in this case, I'm printing the ArrayList capacity. Okay, let me run. So in this case, you will see the capacity is never going to be increased once you set. So what is the capacity? 16, right? So in this case, the capacity is going to remain 16 because you are not adding any new more elements, right? The element is there. You are just removing the elements. The capacity is not going to remove because the capacity is going to work on 1632 like this.
Once it is increased, it will stay same in spite of removing any element.
It is not stay same. Sometimes it is going to be decreased. Okay, let me do one thing. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm going to remove all the array list elements. So array list dot remove. No, not remove. I'm using the clear method. Right. So clear method means it is going to remove all the elements. Right. So in this case, it is still showing me 16 because the default initial capacity is going to be the number of elements that you have added. You understand? So if when I'm adding,
That's what I said. Whatever
this is the
capacity
default.
to which it has increased, it stays as it is. Even
Exactly.
in
Exactly. In this case, it is stay as it is, right? But once you added some, so in this example, the capacity is going to be 16 from the default initial capacity. So in this case, once you added this number of elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 means it will allocate 16 as the default initial capacity. So that
Correct.
you cannot reduce, right? But once it becomes 32, 48, then once you remove some of the elements, right? I have not checked that, right? It should be decreased. So once the capacity becomes 32, and when you remove some of the elements, right? Once the number of element is less than 16, then I hope the capacity is going to be 16. I'm not sure. Okay, so let me do one quick demonstration. First of all, you understand this remove method, right?
Yes, that's very clear.
Okay. So what I'm trying to do is, currently 9 elements are there, right? I'm adding few more elements, right? So I don't know how many elements, but I'm adding few more elements. Okay, and here I'm going to use this one, right? I'm removing from the 0 and I'm removing 15 elements. After removing 15 elements, I'm just going to so the capacity, and here right? Yes. So after clearing, I'm just showing the capacity. This for loop is not required. So So what I'm trying to show is at some point of time, the capacity is going to be 32. Right. So see, so this proves that once the capacity is increased, you cannot decrease. Right. So you can say 16, 16, 16, and when it becomes 32, and after removing the first 15 element and after clearing the collection, the capacity is going to be 30. But guys, don't think that the capacity and the memory location size is going to be same. Capacity means it is going to store that many number of elements, right? And once you store the elements, then this capacity is going to be
memory location is going to be allotted after this.
Yes, yes.
Depending upon capacity. If it
Exactly.
exceeds the capacity, then more memory locations are added.
Right. So basically the capacity is not going to be reduced once it is increased. That is the point. We can see, because I have not tried this one, right? I have not tried removing the elements 16 becomes 32, then removing all the elements showing the capacity. I have not tried this example before. So, but we have tried this one, and we came to know that once we increase the capacity, then the capacity cannot be decreased. Clear?
You demonstrated that one, correct?
Clear or not?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Sir, how to remove element from the last? So you have to use the index position, na? So removing elements means you have many options. What is the last element that you need to provide, or what is the index position of the last element that you need to provide? There is no such mechanism where you can remove the element from the beginning, remove the element from the ending, right? If you want to remove the element from the, if you want to remove last element, right, then that is going to be your different architecture, right? That might be your stack and queue. Using stack and using queue, if you want to remove the element from the beginning, or if you want to remove the element from the end, then the different data structure is there. That is stack and queue. That is also we are going to discuss. Pratik, clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are going to discuss that also.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Right. So how to remove all elements? We have already discussed. By using the clear method, you can remove all the elements, right? That is fine. So now we are going to check, right? We are going to check whether an element exists in the array list or not, right? Suppose you want to remove one element, but before removing the element, first of all, you need to check whether that element is exist in the database or sorry, in the collection or not. If it is exist, then only you need to remove the element. If not exist, then don't remove it, right? That means first of all, you need to check. So how you can check whether an element exists in the collection or not? For that, we need to use the contents method, right? For that, we need to use the contents method. This contents method will take the item, right, or the element, and it will check whether that element is available in the collection or not. If it is available, then it is going to return you true. If it is not available, then it is going to return you false. Let's see this thing also practically. So this is my ArrayList collection containing 5 elements. I'm printing all the ArrayList element, and here I'm checking each ArrayList contains USA. Is ArrayList contain India? India is present in this ArrayList? Yes. So this contents method is going to return me true. Then if you are trying to use this USA is available in this ArrayList? No, USA is not available. So this contents method is going to return me false. If the element is available, this method is going to return true. If the element is not available, then this method is going to return me false, right? So let me run the application. See, true, false, true, false. India is available, yes, available, return true. US is not available, return false. 101 is available, yes, return true. 10.5 is available, no, it's going to return me false. Now, so what is the use of this, right? See, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to remove one element. So how to remove? ArrayList dot remove, and to this method I'm passing some value USA. USA is available or not? Is USA available in this collection?
No.
No.
and but I'm trying to remove that element. See what happens. So in this case, it is not throwing any exception. That is fine. But sometimes what you need to do, you need to make sure that this element is available, right? So what is the best approach? So in this case, it is a non-generic collection. So it is not throwing any kind of exception, but sometimes, right? Sometimes you need to, but if you are working with generic collection, then this statement will throw you exception. So what you need to do, you need to make sure this element is contents, right? So if ArrayList.contents, then only go and remove the elements, right? So this is how you need to use, or this is how the use of contents method is implemented in .NET command, right? First of all, you need to make sure that this content, this element is present, and once this element is present, then go and remove the element, right? This is how you need to implement the remove method. Don't go and blindly call the remove method and remove one element. First check whether that element is available or not. If that element is available, then only go and remove the element. If not available, then don't do anything, right? So in this case, it is a non-generic, so it is not throwing the exception. But if it is a generic collection, then that will throw one exception. That we will see once we discuss generic. So this is how you need to implement the remove method. So first you need to check whether the element is present or not. If present, then only go and remove the element. Clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Now suppose you are one object, right? And you want to create a copy of that object, right? So copy of that object means you are having this collection, and you want to do some kind of operation, but not on this collection, right? Then what you need to do? You want to operate on the same data, but not on this collection. You want to do some manipulation on the other things. Then what you need to do? You need to create a copy of that collection, or you can say you need to create a clone of this collection, right? If you want to create a clone of that collection, then this ArrayList class provides the method called clone. This clone method you can call on this ArrayList collection object, ArrayList.clone, and you need to mention that this clone is of type ArrayList. You need to typecast, and this clone ArrayList is going to contain exactly the same number of elements with the same capacity of the element as this ArrayList. So now this ArrayList and this cloned ArrayList both are going to be same, right? Whatever element, whatever capacity, this ArrayList, the same thing is cloned to this ArrayList also. Now that means both are going to return me the same output. Run the application and see the output. See, this is the ArrayList element, this is the cloned ArrayList element, right? Clear? What is this clone method is all about? Means it is just going to create a copy of your original collection. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So how to sort the elements of ArrayList? Sort means whether you want to store the data in ascending order, right, or descending order, how you can do this, right? So basically there is a method called sort method. That is what you need to call. So ArrayList, right? This is your original ArrayList. The data is stored in random order. Now I'm calling the sort method, right? This sort method is going to store or sort the data in ascending order, right? So you can just sort the elements in the entire ArrayList, right? In the entire ArrayList, the number of elements all are going to be sorted, right? So now again, I'm using the for each loop, and this time it will print the data in the sorted order, right? Let me run the application. Okay. Console.read key. See, you can see the first the first loop prints the data in random order, and the second loop prints the data in sorted order. So Australia, Brazil, Britain. So according to the letter, so it is sorting the data in ascending order, right? And if you want to, if you want the data in descending order, then again you need to call the other, right? So again, give me 1 minute, guys. Okay. So this is how you can sort the data, right? So not only you can sort the alphabet, but also you can sort the numbers also. If you are creating an array list to store numbers, then you can also sort, right? So this is how you can sort the data. So what methods we have discussed, how to create, right? How to add elements, how to access elements, how to iterate through, how to remove elements, how to clone, how to sort, right? All these things, what we are discussing here, we are going to discuss the same thing using all the collection classes, right? So all these things we are going to discuss again and again. So now one question you might be faced in the interview, what is the difference between an array and an array list? The array list collection is very much similar to arrays. The major difference between them is the dynamic nature of the generic collection array list. For arrays, we need to define the size, the number of elements that the array can hold at the time of a declaration. But in the case of array list, this is not required. Elements can be added, removed from the array list collection at any point of time. So you no need to mention the size of the array list. As you add the element, the size can automatically goes, and elements can be added and removed from the array list collection at any given point of time. So apart from this, you can see array list is fixed length. Array is fixed length and array list is variable length. Cannot insert it into the middle, cannot delete from the middle. It is type shape, right? If you are working with the array, means it is type shape. So we can store only similar type of data based on the data type. Boxing and unboxing is not required. So the advantages of using array is this one. It is type shape, and boxing and unboxing is not required. And coming to array list, the advantage, what are the disadvantages of array? Those are the advantages of array list. It's a variable length, can insert an element, can delete an element from the middle of the collection. And what is the issue? Issue is it is not type set. We can store any type of data, and boxing and unboxing are required as it is operate on the object data type. Clear? Guys,
Sir, clear.
That's clear.
okay, let's take a break for 10 minutes, right? Then we'll meet at 11 a.m., right? Or are you guys getting bored? Should I stop the session?
No, sir.
No,
No.
We can continue after.
We
Okay,
continue
okay, so
probably for another 1 hour.
okay, so we'll again we'll back after 10 minutes, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Guys, all are back?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall we continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So we have discussed what is array list, and we have discussed a few methods, right? Few methods means what are the methods we can use to perform different types of operations, right? And these methods are what we are using, like remove, art, and all these things. These are not available in array class, right? So now we are going to discuss another non-generic collection class that is hash table. Give me 1 minute, guys. Right. So we are going to discuss another non-generic collection class that is hash table. And this hash table is basically going to store the data in the form of a key value pair, right? And that is what we are going to discuss in detail, right? So what we are going to discuss, what are the problems with array and array list collection class, and how we can overcome those problems using hash table. What is hash table and how does it work? Difference between hash table and array list, how to create a hash table collection, how to add elements to a hash table, how to access elements from a hash table, how to check whether a key value pair exists in the hash table or not, how to remove elements from a hash table, and how to assign and update values from the hash table using indexer, and how to clone a hash table collection in C#. All these things we are going to discuss now, right? But before understanding hash table, let us first understand the problem that we face array and array list, and how we can overcome those problems by using hash table. See, in the case of array and array list, we can access the elements from the collection using the index position, right? So we can access the element from the collection by using the index position. The index position of the element starts from 0 and number of elements -1. But it is very difficult to remember the index position of the element in order to access the value, right? Suppose you are creating one collection, right? In that collection, you can store many elements, right? And now, suppose this is an array list, and in this array list, I'm having this number of elements. I'm having this is the employee ID, employee name, right? Employee, what is its designation, what is his salary, where he work, what is in which industry is working, and what is his email address. All these things we are storing, right? But the problem is, right? But the problem is, if I want to access the employee location, then first of all, I need to know what is the index position of this element. Yes or no? Without knowing the index position, can you access any element?
No, difficult.
No. That means what? We need to remember at index position 1, what is there? At index position 2, what is there? At index position 6, what is there? So currently you can see there are 7, 8 elements are there. If there are 50 elements, do you think that it is feasible for us to remember the index position of all the elements?
No.
No. So it is very difficult for us to remember the index position of all the elements to access the element. But it is possible, yes. If we know the index position, then we can access the element. But it is a little bit or very difficult for us to remember the index position. In this case, if I want to access the location, right, then I need to know the index position. Yes, the index position of this element is 4. Let's access the element by using the index position. And if I want to access the email ID, then I need to know the index position of that element, and the index position. In this case, I need to check 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, the index position is 6. Let me keep that index position here, right? So this is how we are working so far with array and array list, right? And this is the problem. If your collection contains many elements, then it is very difficult for us to remember the index position of all those elements, and using the index position, accessing the element is going to be a difficult task. And how we can overcome this problem? We can overcome this problem by using the concept called the hash table. So what is hash table? Let's discuss. The hash table is a non-generic collection class that stores the elements in the form of a key value pair. So it will store the elements in the form of a key value pair. The data in the hash table are organized based on the hash code of the key, right? So whatever key you have provided, it will generate a hash code of that key internally, and based on that hash key, it is going to store the data. The key in the hash table is defined by us, and more importantly, that key can be of any data type. The key, right? The key, what we are going to use, that is going to be defined by us, and we can define the key using any data type. Key you can define as integer key, you can define as string key, you can define as a floating point number, right? There is no issue. And then we can access the element by using the key, right? And now let us see some of the characteristics. The hash table collection stores the elements in the form of a key value pair. If you understand this is right, so okay, let me give you the see in this case to make you understand what is key value pair. So here you can see I'm adding two elements, right? I'm providing the key as EID, which is a string type, and the value is going to be 1001. And adding another element, I'm providing the key as name, and the value is going to be same. So this is how you need to add elements to a hash table by using the key and value pair. And once you want to access the name, then you need to use the key like this: hash table.eid, hash table.name. Hash table.name means it is going to return me the name, and hash table.eid means it is going to return me the employee ID. So here I do not need to remember the index position, right? I just need to use the key to access the elements. And in this case, the key is going to be of any data type. I can use the key like this. Here, you can also write the key. (101). But the key is going to be unique. You cannot use two same keys in the same hash table, right? You can use in string, you can use integer, that is possible, right? And how you are going to access? By using the key name only, you can access the element, right? The hash table collection class stores the element in the form of a key value pair. That is what I am showing you. This is the key and its value. The second point, what is saying, a hash table class belongs to System.Collection namespace, and as it belongs to System.Collection namespace means it is a non-generic collection class. It implements the iDictionary interface, right? As we are accessing this using the key value pair means it implement the iDictionary interface. The key can be of any data type, and they must be unique and not null. So key, you can use any data type, but the value must be unique and the value should not be null. The hash table accepts both null and duplicate values. The value can be null, the value can be duplicate, but the key cannot be null and the key cannot be duplicate, right? We can access the values by using the associated key. By using the key, you can access the value. The capacity of a hash table is the number of elements that a hash table can hold. A hash table is a non-generic collection, so we can store elements of the same type as well as different types. So in this case, you can see I'm using storing integer, I'm storing string values also. So there is no such restriction as it is operate on object data. Right now, we understand what is hash table, right? Now we need to understand how exactly the hash table internally work. See, when we add the elements to a hash table like integer, string, complex type, that it converts the key data, which can be a string, integer, numeric, or anything in the world, into simple hash integer values, so that the lookup can easy. Once the conversion is done, then the data will be added to the hash table collection. So what is that? Suppose you are adding some data. Suppose you are adding this EID and a 1001. So this EID is nothing but your key. So what he will do, and this key can be of any data type. So you can see string, integer, you can take any data type, right? Then what he will do, he will convert that key to a hash, right? For that particular key, it will generate a hash code, and that hash code is nothing but some integer number, integer values, right? Suppose you are writing the key Anurag Prana Samit like this, then for this key, it will generate a hash code, and that hash code is going to be stored inside the collection, and the value is going to be stored in the values column, right? So basically the thing that you need to remember, even though we are using keys, but internally he will convert the keys to simple hash values, and that hash value is going to be stored in the collection, right? One more point that you need to remember, the performance of the hash table is less as compared to array list because of this key conversion, right? In this case, right? In this case, so in array list, we are directly using the index position and access the elements. But in this case, even though we are accessing the elements by using the key, but it is going to give you less performance as compared to your array list. Why? Because this key conversion is there. Key conversion means this will convert the corresponding key into hash code. This conversion will take some time, and because of this, it is going to give you less performance than your array list. Clear, or any doubt from anybody?
Okay, clear. But thing is, performance-wise, it affects means if you have thousands of records. So does it take that much of time to, give me the output?
Yeah, see, definitely see. Currently, we are using the hash table collection, right? But there is a counterpart in the generic collection class. There is a dictionary collection is available. We basically use dictionary collections, right? We never use hash table. Hash table is basically going to be used, right, when you have different types of values, right? Obviously, if you are using hash table, then it will degrade your performance. Why? Because this is an object data. It is operate on object data type, and object data type as you are using, the performance degradation is going to be there because of boxing and unboxing, right? So if you are storing thousands data, right, then definitely it is going to give you less performance, right? Why? Because for 1,000 keys, it will generate the hash code, right? Once it generates the hash code, then you can access the data very fast, right? But storing the data will take some time.
Okay.
Right? And coming to the real-time scenarios, in real-time scenarios, we never store different types of data in a single collection, right? So generally we use a hash. Generally we use a dictionary in our real-time application, because dictionary there is no concept called boxing and unboxing, and which is also going to improve the performance. And guys, don't ever try to use 1,000 or 100 records in a collection, right? If you want to store 100 records, then it is better to use collection like list, right? Don't use this hash table, right? Hash table specific. Suppose you are having 10 records, 10 data, right? And based on the key, we need to paste the information. For example, you are implementing one payment gateway in your application, right? For that payment gateway, you need some information. What is the payment gateway? What is the account number, right? Some salt, some key is used internally, right? Those things you can store inside a hash table because these are not going to be that heavy, right? Only 15 in number of records are there, that is fine. But if you are having thousands of records, then don't use hash table or a dictionary, because that will be going to degrade your application performance. Better use, see, if you are having 100 records, what is the use of keys? There should not be use of keys. Means what? Now, if you are having 10-15 records, and if you want to access the values by using the key, and it's very difficult for us to remember the name of the keys because see, this dictionary, what we are filling here, the data is coming from the database table, right? In database table, the key is there. In the database table, the value is there, right? There are two different columns, one column for key and one column for value. And we need to operate on those data on our application. So we need to paste the data from the database to inside a dictionary table. And from the dictionary table, we can access the value based on the key. And in that case, if we are going with index position, then it will be great problem. Why? Now, because tomorrow some key value is in first index position. Today is in one order. Tomorrow someone come and he might be change the order of the keys, right? Order of the key and values in the database. So in that case, it will make conflict and it will give you a wrong output. So it is always better to use hash table or a dictionary in such scenarios, right? So, but if you are having thousands records, then don't use this hash table. It will kill your performance, kill your application performance. Clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now we need to use a hash table and how to create a non-generic hash table. So again, you can use the hash table constructor like this hash table. So the way we are creating the instances, in the same way you can create an instance, right? So how to use? So first of all, if you want to use hash table, then you need to include the System.Collections namespace. So why? Because this hash table class belongs to this namespace. And once you include the namespace, then you can create an instance of the hash table by using the constructor which doesn't take any parameter. Other constructors are there, but that is fine. We can use this constructor and we are going to do everything from the scratch, right? So we can directly use this constructor which doesn't take any parameter, right? Once you create an instance, right, then how to add the elements to the hash table? Again, we are having two options. One is by using the add method, and the other option is by using the collection initializer, right? So if you are going to use the add method, right? So if you are going to use the add method, then this is the syntax, right? So if you go to the hash table add, okay, let me create an instance of this, right? And if you go to this here, so you will find some add method, and this add method is taking two parameter. One is object key and another one is object value, right? And that means one is going to be your object key and another one is going to be your object value. So this method is used to add an element with the specified key and value into the hash table. Here the parameter key specifies the key of the element to add, and the parameter value specifies the value of the element, right? The value can be null, but the key cannot be null and the key cannot be duplicate, right? So for example, if you once you create this collection, hash table collection, then you can add element like this. This is going to be your key and this is going to be your value. So any number of elements you can add, right? And even though it is also possible to create a hash table by using the collection initializer syntax. Collection initializer syntax means you can create a hash table like this. Instead of a var, you can also use hash table. That is fine, right? If you are using var, that is also fine. So in this case, this UK is nothing but your key, and these cities are nothing but your values. For USA, this is the USA is the key, and these are the values. For India, right? For the third line, India is the key, and these are the values for the key India. Clear or not? How to create a hash table and how to add elements to the hash table is clear or not?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Then how we can access the hash table collection in .NET Framework? There are basically two ways. One of the way is by using the key as the index, right? Key as the index means once you have the hash table, then you know how to use the index, right? Index means you have to pass the index position, right? Index number 0, 1, 2, 3. But here, instead of passing the index position or index number, what you need to pass? You need to pass the key. And the key is like this. So if you are creating a string key, you have to pass like this. If you are creating the key as an integer, then you need to pass that integer number here, right? So EID. So in this case, you can see I'm just making these changes. I'm making this as name, right? So this is how you can access the employee ID 10. So once you access this, it is going to return me 1001. And once you access hash table.name, it is going to return me James. This is one. Another option is using the for each loop, right? Using the for each loop, how you can access? You have to access through this hash table class having one key, right? This is the key and this is the value, and this is a collection, right? So if I'm calling this keys, means it is going to return me all the keys this hash table has. And once you got the key, then you can access the value like this or not. So this object obj is going to store the keys, right? Keys means how many keys are there, that will be stored one by one inside this variable. And once you got the key, then you can access the value by using the index. The second option is that you can also use a dictionary entry. So this dictionary entry means it is having two parameter, one is key and one is value. The key will be stored inside the key parameter and the value will be stored inside the value parameter. So by using these two for loops, right, by using these two options, you can access all the elements of it hash table, right? So here I'm only accessing the keys, and once I got the key, I can access the value. And here I'm using the dictionary entry collection, right? Dictionary entry class, and this class will going to hold the key in the keys property and the value in the value property. Any question from anyone?
No.
Okay. So once we see the example, right, then you will get it practically better, right? So let me go to the project. Let me copy this, right? HASH, right? Hash table. So here I'm creating a collection of a hash table. Here I'm adding the elements, right? You can see ID, name, salary, location, and email ID. And the EID here key is EID, here key is name, here key is salary, location, and the email ID, and accordingly the value. Once you have the dictionary, and once you have added the elements, and this is the add method, right? So previously ArrayList we have also used the add method, and here also we are using the add method. And then what I'm trying to do, printing the key and their values using for each loop. So once I call this keys method, so what is it is going to return? It is returning a I collection, right, which is going to hold the keys. Right. Once you got the key, then you can access the object, right? You can access the, okay, instead of saying obj, what I can say better, key, right? So it is going to be my key, and by using the key, I can access the value, right? So this is going to return me a collection of keys, and each key is going to store inside this variable, and I'm accessing the value from this hash table by using the key as a indexer. Even though you can also access the elements, right, by using the dictionary entry method, right? So dictionary entry method. So if I'm using var here, is this going to be var? No, it is not going to be var. So what you need to do, if you are using var, then by default it is going to return object, right? But if you are using dictionary entry, then it is going to return me the key and the value. So you can see this is a collection of key value properties, right? So the key is going to store inside the key properties, and the value is going to store inside the value properties. So we have two options to access the element, and we have already discussed you can access directly by using the key name like this hash table dot location and hash table dot email ID. Right now, if you run the application, then you will get the output as expected. Right, so you can see email ID, this is EID, name, location, and salary. This is email ID, EID, name, location, and salary, right? So you can see the data. The data is not in which order you are getting the data. First email ID, then EID, right? Then your name, then location, then salary. That means it is I mean, what exactly he is doing internally is he is storing the data based on the hash code, right? He will generate the hash code, and then he will sort the data based on the hash code, and then he will store the data, and accordingly you will get the output, right? Clear, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Email ID has come up in the beginning. That is it randomly or jumbled up?
Sorry.
Yeah. In the hash table add, email ID is in the end, right? So it should come in that order only. Why it is coming up first?
Yeah, so see, in this case, hash tool means it's a dictionary. Internally, if you go to the if you go to the hash table, then you will see that it implements the iDictionary collection, and you know how dictionary work. In
Yeah.
dictionary means it should sort the data in ascending or descending order, right? And in this case, from the beginning, I told you, even though I'm using EID, do you think that EID is going to store in the hash table, or the hash code of this EID is going to store in the dictionary?
Hash code.
Hash code. And once he generates the hash code of EID, name, salary, then according to the sorting order, that element is going to be stored. That is why you can see email, it's not coming as the last element. So based on the hash code of email ID, then that code is nothing but it's an integer value, right? If you look at the starting, then I have shown you that hash code is nothing but one integer value. And based on the integer value, that is going to be stored in its appropriate position. If it is, suppose you are creating like this, so accordingly, suppose 4 means it should come in between 3 and 5, right?
Got it.
Okay. So the next is how to add elements to a hash table using collection initializer, right? We have, I have shown you that we have 2 options to add element. One is by using the add method, and another one is by using the collection initializer, right? See, in this case, you can see there are in the new keyword, it is showing me 3 dot symbol, right? Yes or no? This dot symbol is visible or not?
Yes, visible.
Okay. So if you take your mouse pointer over there, this ball symbol is coming and it is saying collection initialization can be simplified. So instead of using this hashtable.add, so you can simplify this by using the collection initializer. So this is nothing but your collection initializer. No need to use the add method. Directly you can initialize like this. So when you initialize like this is nothing but your collection initializer, right? So now if you run the application again, you will get the same output. So here you do not need to call the add method. Directly you can initialize the element while creating the collection. Clear? Or still anybody having any? The same way we discussed as ArrayList. This is the same. Collection initializer means you have to initialize like this. Clear?
Yeah.
Right. Now how to check the availability of a key value pair in a hash table, right? In our ArrayList collection, we have discussed the contents method, right? The contents method, you need to pass the item that you want to search. If that item is available, then that method is going to return you true. If that item is not available, then that method is going to return you false. But in hash table, we have 3 options, right? These 2 methods are going to be same, right? Contents object key or contents key object key, right? Both these 2 methods are going to be same. So they will take the key as an input parameter and they will check whether that key is available in the collection or not, in the hash table collection or not. If the key is available, then it will return true. If the key is not available, then it will return false, right? And the other option to check is the value, right? Contents value. So here contents key, whatever we are passing, you will treat it as a key. And in the case of a contents value, whatever we are passing, it will treat as a value. And if that value is available in the collection, right, then it will return true. If the value is not available, then it is going to return me what? It will return me false. Let me show you this thing practically. All these 3 methods, right? So this is my hash table collection. Let me simplify this initialization. So hash table.contents email ID. Is the email ID key available in this hash table? Yes, available. So it is going to return me true. Hash table.contents department. Is there any key available with the name department in this hash table collection? No, department is not available. So it is going to return me what? It is going to return me false. Email ID is exist. Email ID key contents key. Email ID is exist. Yes, exist. It is going to return me true. Department is exist. No, it is not exist. It is going to return me false. Contents value Mumbai. Mumbai is available in this hash table collection as a value. Yes, Mumbai is available as a value. So it is going to return me true. Technology. Is technology available in this collection as a value? No, technology is not available. So in this case, it is going to return me false. Right now, let me run the application and show you the output. And in this case, you will see that the first output is going to be true, the second one is going to be false, true, false, true, false. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes.
Okay. So see, once you understand one collection framework, right, then you can easily understand the rest of the collections, right? So again, we have already discussed in our array list how to remove one element. We have two options. You can use remove. You need to specify the element that you want to remove. And second option is that you have to use remove part, where you need to specify the index position. In this case, the index position concept is not there. And here we are storing the data in the form of a key and value. So the remove method on this hash table collection class accept the input parameter as a key. If that key is available, then it will remove that element. And if the key is not available, then it will not remove, right? It will throw key not found exception, right? And if you want to remove all the elements from the hash table, then what is the method available? This clear method, right? The clear method is going to clear, right, the hash table collection. Let me show you the output. This is my hash table collection. Currently, I'm just printing the count. Count means the number of elements present inside this hash table. Then I'm removing the key EID. So EID going to remove. So once it removed, then you will see that the count is going to be initially it is going to be 5. Then it is going to print me 4. And here, if you are trying to remove employee.ct, but as the city column is not available here, right? The city column is available inside this collection. No, it is not available. So this statement is going to return me or going to give me some exception that I will say later. And here, right? So instead of writing this statement, right? What it is always suggested. So as I mentioned, so first of all, you need to check the contents key. If the key is available, then this method is going to return me true, and it return true, then just go and remove the city. Else mention that this city is not available. And clear method means it is going to clear all the elements. In this case, you will see the count as 0. Right. So let me run the application. See, hash table total elements is 5. After removing EID, the total element is 4. And in this case, you can see this statement is returned true. So this statement is written false. So as false, the else part is going to be executed. And whatever we have written hash table does not contain city key, that is printed. And then once you clear all the elements of the hash table, then the elements count is going to be 0. Any question from this example? What is this remove and the contents key and the clear method?
No.
Right. And now why I'm using this contents key, why I'm not removing this method directly? Because if you are trying to remove a key which does not exist, then it will going to throw you some exception, key not found. So why I'm not getting this exception? Because why I'm not getting exception in this case? Because it is not a generic collection. Sorry, if it is going to be a generic collection, then at that time you will get the exception. But as it is not a generic collection, so it is not throwing me exception, right? So following statement, we need to remove this one because this will make you confused on this. So because we are currently discussing the concept, right? We are currently discussing the non-generic concept, and if I'm mixing it with collection framework, generic collection framework, then you will only going to get confused, right? So you understand this concept, right? How to remove element, right? And all these things. What is the clear method? What is the remove method? And what is this content scheme method? What this method return? It will return true or false. If the key is available, it is going to return true. And this method remove method, what it is going to do? It is going to remove the element from the collection. Right? It is going to remove that record from the collection. Record means not only it is going to remove key, but also the value is also going to be removed from the collection. Clear? Guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How to assign a value to a hash table with index, right? We have already discussed, right? By using the key, we can update the value, right? See how, right? Suppose you are creating one key, right? I'm creating a hash table. I'm creating a hash table of 1 equals to 1, hash table of 5 equals to 5, hash table of 30 equals to 30. So in this case, 1 is nothing but your key, and this is going to be your value. 5 is nothing but your key, and here this is going to be your value, and 30 is going to be your key, and 30 is going to be your value. So by using indexer, you can also add the element like this. And once you run this for each loop, then the key and value is going to be printed on the console. The key is going to be 1530 and the value is going to be the text 1530. Clear? Even you can also use this indexer to add. So you can use the collection initializer syntax. You can use the add method where you need to specify the key and the values. And even you can also use the indexer to add the elements. Clear or still down?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Now, so using indexer, not only you can add the value, but also you can update the value. See how? Right. Currently, my hash table collection is having this number of elements. Right. I can print the employee name and employee salary. How to get the value? How to get the name? By using the name key as an indexer. Right. And how to get the salary? By using the salary indexer, I can get the salary. So in this case, name is going to be string. So I'm typecasting to string and storing the name, and employee salary is going to be an integer number. So I'm converting that to integer. Right. So before updating the name and salary, I'm just printing the name and salary here. Right now, I'm going to update the name and salary. So in this case, name equals to Smith. Update the value of name key. So in this case, as this name key is already exists, so it is going to update the name key. And employee salary means in this case, it is going to update the salary. If these properties are not available, then these properties are going to be added into the collection. As it is available, so it is going to be updated inside the collection, right? Once you update, see in the previous example, we have shown you now how to add. So the same thing. So I'm going to add this thing, right? If I'm going to add this thing, so this in this case, these two are going to be added, right? These two are going to be added into your collection, right? These two are going to be added, but in this case, these are going to be updated. Why added? Because these key are not available. And why updated? Because this key is already available. Then it will update this value. So once you update, then again I'm fetching the name and salary. I'm printing the name and the salary. Right now, let me run this. See, before update, James and 3500, and after update, it's going to be Smith and 5000. Clear? Or anybody having any question?
No question here.
Okay. This is a very simple, right? How to update a hash table in C# using indexer. We have seen this one right now. And now, how to clone a non-generic hash table. See, the same. So in our previous ArrayList collection class, we have discussed which method is used to clone the object, the clone method, right? The same thing here we are also going to do. I'm creating one hash table. I'm adding some elements to the hash table, and this is my original hash table element. Now I'm going to create a clone of this hash table. Clone means a copy of the hash table. How? Now I just need to call the clone method, and once I call the clone method, then I need to typecast this to the particular type. This hash table type is of this type hash table, so I'm typecasting to that, and I'm storing the result inside this hash table. So now this clone hash table collection and this hash table collection both are going to be same, right? They are going to contain the same elements, right? So you can see both are going to contain the same element. So this is how you can copy, right, or create a new or a clone object of your hash table. Clear? Or any doubt? Because we have already discussed this one. The same thing is also applicable here.
Yes, clear.
Right? And then, yeah, that's it. So we have discussed how to create, how to add, how to remove, how to clone. So we have discussed how to create a non-generic collection, right? How to add elements using the add method, using the collection initializer, and using the indexer. How to access a non-generic collection, we have shown you using the indexer and using the for each loop, and and using the dictionary entry method. How to access and how to check the availability, we have discussed three methods. One is contents, one is contents key, and one is contents value. And we have discussed the remove method, right? To remove the element, and we have also discussed the clear method to remove all the elements. And how to assign and update values, we have discussed using the indexer, and how to clone a non-generic hash table class, that we have also discussed. Any question from anyone?
No question, sir.
No.
Okay, so should we proceed for the next collection class, or should we stop here?
I think, sir, most of the people has been left. So
We need to stop, right?
yes, sir.
You can stop, sir. Yeah.
Okay, fine. But guys, whatever I'm explaining, are you guys understanding the concept or not?
Yes, sir. Each and everything is explained very
perfectly
well, and we are understanding.
Right, because why I'm saying, because most of the people they're not explaining this concept, right? They're just showing the hash table is one collection, you have to use this and this, that is. But everything we need to understand, what are the different operations we can perform. Some of the operation we can perform on one collection which might not be available in other collection. What are the things you can do, what are the things you cannot do? Everything we need to understand, right? How this internally work, because people know that is key value pair is added, but you have to know that whatever key you are using, that will convert it into hash, right? That hash is going to be stored. See, if you do not understand this hash concept, then you might be one question, sir, I'm adding the data in this order, but while I'm fetching the data, why I'm not getting the output in the same order, right? Why I'm getting the salary column first, then department, then job, then email ID. But this is not the order of what I'm adding the element. How is, what is the reason behind for this? How it is happening in the background? Yes, in the background, this key is not going to be added. This key is converted to hash value, and based on the hash number, it's going to be simple integer number that will be stored at some particular location, and the number is going to be stored in ascending order, right? So that is the logic implemented behind the scene, right? That you have to understand.
Yes, sir. Can I ask one thing, not directly to related this?
Yeah, you can ask.
Yeah, here term using hash.
Yes.
So this hash is direct to when we encrypt the anything to hash.
Okay.
Both are same.
No. Hash are different. So you know SAR 256 or SAR, so something is there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am asking only there is a relation between both of them or not?
Sorry, which relation between whom?
This has and that has.
This has and that has means what?
Means
Maybe he's asking about cloned one.
Yeah, clone
No,
is a
no.
different one.
No, sir. I am asking here today we learn about hash, okay,
Yes.
and the encryption hash. So there is any relation between them?
No, I'm not getting your question actually. So today we learn this hash means it's basically it implement one internal mechanism to generate one integer number based on your keys. And other hash, what you are talking, can you explain me?
Other hash mean when we encrypt any value in the hash.
So encryption, decryption is a different thing, right?
Okay.
Encryption means you can implement a SAR 256, right? SAR 512. You have to use some other things, means you have to generate some key, right? That is a different thing, and this is the different thing.
Okay.
Right.
Forward.
So,
yes, sir.
right. See, whenever you are implementing any kind of applications, right? Application means in that case, you cannot find only integer number in your hash, right? So it's going to be a 16-bit or 32 bits alphanumeric number, right? So you have some data and you want to transfer the data over the network from one location to another location. Sending the data in normal human readable format is dangerous, right? So in that case, what we are using some SHA-56, SHA-512 or 256 mechanism, encoding mechanism. We are providing some secret key, right? And using that secret key, we are encoding the data, and that encoded data we are passing from one location to another location, right? The other person who are there on the other side, they have to decrypt the data. So, right, that what you are using, that is basically encryption and a decryption. In this case, there is no decryption is there, right? Whenever you are passing some key, you will generate the hash code, and based on that hash code, it will fetch the value, right? But what you are using, that is encryption and a decryption. Right, to encrypt the data, we are implementing some mechanism called SHA-56 or SHA-256 like this, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So both are different.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any question from anyone? Guys, are you guys attending the interviews? Or anyone having any question related to the concept which we have already covered, and anything which we have not covered in our course, right? Any OOPS concept, basic concept, exception handling, right? Multi-threading, anything which you find any other website or any other tutorials or taught by any other teacher which I have not covered, anything like this? Right?
Sir,
because I have, yeah, because I have to also learn something new, because whatever I know, I'm explaining, but it might be possible that some of the concept I'm not aware, right? That also I need to learn from you. If you tell me the concept, then I will do some R&D, then I will come up with definitely better solution, and I will deliver the same.
No, sir, I'm only discussing with you.
No, I'm not saying that. So you have to see whatever my experience, whatever my knowledge, I'm only delivering those things. But it is not like that. This is the whole thing. There might be some things which I might be missed, right? That if you check other website, other tutorial websites, right, then you might find something new which is not to be in our course syllabus. Then please let me know, and don't keep focus only the documents and only the things which I am covering. Try to go and try to Google the same concept in internet and try to figure out what other websites they are explaining, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Right. So otherwise, see why I'm saying, because if you only listen to me, then whatever my experience, I will only deliver. But if something which I do not know, then how I can deliver that? If you tell me, yeah, this is the thing you missed, then definitely I will do some R&D, I will do some resource, right, research, and then definitely I will come. Right. So for example, today we have discussed a few concepts. We have discussed one concept is ArrayList. Okay. So search ArrayList, non-generic ArrayList. This is non-generic ArrayList. So non-generic ArrayList in C# and just press enter. You will see many websites. One is this Greek for Grace tutorials teachers, right? This is Stack Overflow. This is tutorials point, and this is my website, right? And this is a difference between. This is another website. This is C# corner, right? So you will find many websites, right? Right. So you just need to go. So what is ArrayList they are provided, right? Some points how to create ArrayList. So you need to check, right? How to remove elements, right? So you need to go and check if anything is missed, right? This is another good website, that is tutorials. What is the tutorials teacher, right? Generic and non-generic collections, right? So what is generic collection? They are providing these things, right? What is non-generic collection? These are the ArrayList, ArrayList, hostel. What is this bit array? I don't know. If you see this, sir, there is something called bit array. Then you just tell me, then I will definitely do some resource and R&D, and I will come up with a solution, right? And they are not explaining any examples here, right? And this is ArrayList, right? ArrayList, See, they are just covering this list with array list, but we have not yet discussed what is this list. We are only focused on array list, right? Then if you go to other generic versus non-generic, why are everybody saying generic versus non-generic? Where is this array list collection, right? So advantages and disadvantages of non-generic collections, right? Array list. The difference between generic and the non-generic collections. Okay, let me search array list only.
Sir, at the time of revision, we only use the reference.
No, no.
Otherwise,
No, you have to you have to check other sites also.
sir, after finding you, I stopped the researching
This
because
is
I
suppose.
no, sir.
No, this is bad now. So even though even every day I'm also doing some kind of research, right? Research.
Sir, in my theory, first I have to learn one thing, then after we will research another thing. So
Right.
first we have to consolidate in one thing. Then after we have to go for another thing.
Yeah, right, that is fine, but you have to understand now, because what is my experience, I'm only going to cover those things. But if something I'm missing, then how you will learn that thing, right? So for that, you need to check other websites. So this is Guru 99, right? One
Sir,
of my competitor.
after so many research, we find you. Okay, so this time we are only concentrate on you. Then after we will
See, after so many researches, you find me, but if I'm only
Yes, sir.
suggesting you to look at different websites,
Okay, sir.
right? Because suppose you understand the multi-threading, right? But multi-threading, you need to check multi-threading by different website, what they are providing. We have covered multi-threading. Okay, let me multi-threading in C#. See,
Sir, here the matter is authenticity. Okay, so there are so many videos and websites, but how they are authenticate? First, we have to learn this thing.
No, that is what I'm saying now. Once you will understand the concept, right? Today I have discussed few concepts, right? We have discussed hash table and we have discussed array list, right? Once you understand, just try to search array list on internet and try to figure out whether whatever content they are provided, we are covered or not. If anything is missed, then let me know, sir, this thing is missed. You have not explained this thing, then definitely I will come.
So in that matter, you are right. We will think like this, but first I have to learn from you and consolidate on you. Then after we will work. Sir, please try to understand. I think.
But this is not a good approach, right? So in technology, don't think that one person knows everything.
Sir, in technology, because we can't believe the others. Sometimes we may mislead.
No, I'm not saying something about misleads, right? So because you are not a fresher, you are an experienced guy, right? I'm not saying you to learn something which I have not talked in our session. I'm saying only try to learn something which we have already covered. Suppose exception handling we have covered. Try to learn and try to visit some different website and try to figure out whether we are missing anything or not. Right? We have covered multi-threading. Figure out any tutorial in any tutorial website or any YouTube videos, right? And try to check whether whatever concept we are covering or all is available or anything we are missing, right? Because see, in every batch, I always try to learn something from you guys. Right? So if you tell me or if you let me know that some new concept is there which we are not covering, then that new concept I'm going to learn. If you are not going to tell me, then how I will able to know? Because I'm not getting that, or I'm not having that enough time to check what is there, what is not there, right? Because most of the time I'm giving to this training session and to my work. Right?
Okay, sir, we will remind this.
Yeah, because this is only good for you, not for me. If you are not searching other things, then it is a loss to you only. right? Because I'm not the one who is saying only refer to the documents what I am sharing. That is the best one, or we are covering everything. I'm not saying like this. Yes, we are covering most of the concepts, right? But try to search other website also. Try to figure out if anything we are missing, right? It might be possible that some of the examples which we are giving in our example is not the appropriate one, but other website they are giving some better example, right? So by looking at the example only, you can understand the concept. You understand my point, na?
Yes, sir.
And definitely, I'm trying my best to cover all the concepts, right? Whatever concept I'm providing in the syllabus, definitely I'm going to cover all those concepts in detail. But you also have to do some kind of R&Ds. Until and unless, see, in this example, intentionally, if you look at this, why I'm saying this, because I also need to know whether you guys are serious or not. Because if you look at this, one thing I'm missing in the two classes, whether you take the consideration array list or this hash table, if I will ask you, can you convert this hash table to a array? Can you convert array list to a array? Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. How? See, if you will do some R&D, then you will come to know how it is possible, right? Intentionally, I'm missing these two one concept, and that concept is how to copy. And this is a task to you guys: how to convert this hash table to one array, or how to convert that array list to one array. To give you some, I mean, to give you one solution, I can show you this one. That copy to method is basically you are going to, right? You need to use this copy to method to copy this hash table to a one-dimensional array. And if you go to the ArrayList class, also you will find this copy to method, right? If you go to this ArrayList class, then also you will find this copy to method. And you can use this copy to method to copy this ArrayList to an array. How to do this? It's a task to you guys. I know how to do this, right? Intentionally, I'm missing this one. Why I'm missing this one intentionally? Because you have to do some kind of work, right? And if you are not going through the definition of this class, right? If you are not trying to understand, see, in this class, there are thousands of methods. It's not possible to use all this method. You have to show, right? You can see there is a reverse method. I'm not showing the example of a reverse method, right? So you have to show this. I'm showing the example of a sort method, but I'm not using this reverse method, right? Then you have to check this now. What is this reverse method? If I'm calling this reverse method, then what is happening? What is this index and count parameter of this reverse method, right? If I'm passing say index number 2 and if I'm passing count 5, then what is the output, right? This definition is reverse the order of the elements in the specified range, right? So one range you need to pass. Suppose I'm passing index position 2 and index count is 5. Then from index position 2, from the third element to the next 5 element, it is going to sort the elements. It is going to reverse the elements, right? Not all rest of all. So once you do this practically, then you will understand the concept. And it is not possible to cover all these methods. All right. So why I am showing you the sort method, then you have to understand this reverse method. What is this? I'm showing you insert range because this is required. Right. So you can see there is a 2 array method also is there, right? You can convert this to an array, right? And it is going to convert. So once you call this method to a 2 array, it is going to convert that to an array. And once you convert to that array, so it is going to be a one-dimensional array only, because you can see there is no subscript comma operator, right? So why my intention is whatever methods available inside this class, you should have some basic knowledge, right? So something you will not understand, yeah, that is acceptable. What is this I comparer? That is you cannot understand, right? That is what we are going to cover. I'm not covering at this today because you will not understand what is this I comparer, right? Once you start generic collection, definitely I'm going to cover this one. Right. So if you are going to do some kind of comparison, then how it is going to come into the picture. That is what I'm going to show you. Right. So I am trying my best, but you also have to do some time to yourself, right? Otherwise, you will not become a good developer, right? If you want to become one architect, right? I'm not talking about developer, right? Developer can do the things from Stack Overflow, they can copy and paste it. But if you want to become an architect, right, then you want to know what is happening behind the scene, right? What is good? Architect means for that given scenario, what is the solution? Whether I need to use hash table or whether I need to use a dictionary or whether I need to use array list. While looking at the problem as an architect, you should decide, right? As a senior developer, as a team lead, you should decide, you should give suggestions to your fellow developers, what is the best approach for this particular scenario, right? Right? And for that, you need to do lots of hard work. Learning one is one thing, and whatever you are learning, implementing the things in a better way is another thing. Right? Okay. Let it. But guys,
Sir,
yeah.
One thing only. Sir, what is stack developer?
Sorry,
Stack developer.
stack developer or full stack developer?
Yes, sir. Full stack developer.
Full stack developer means suppose one project is developed, right? In that project, you are having some UI work, you are having some API work, you are having some database work, right? As a developer, you are working on all the parts. You are developing the UI, you are creating the APIs, and you are maintaining the database. Then you will be said to be a full stack developer, right? For that project, everything you are going to be developed, right? But nowadays, what happened? The UI is Angular, React, right? Mobile, Android, iOS. They are for that they are a dedicated team. As a .NET developer, we are going to work with our APIs. DBA is there or database team is there. They are going to create the storage procedure, creating the tables, all these things, and we are going to use those things, right? But if we are working as a full stack developer, means you should know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You should know database part, and you should know this coding part. But I never use that term full stack developer. I always use the term copy paste developer because as a developer, nobody can say that I always write the code by my own. Or any time you take any developer, definitely they are going to do that copy paste part, right? Stack Overflow, you might know. Most of the time, developer copying the code from Stack Overflow without understanding the code, they are just pasting it in their application.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys. How many of you like cricket match?
Sir, I like.
You like?
Yes.
So because from today onwards, I think the World T20 is going to be started, na?
Yes, sir.
And what is the chance of India this time to winning the trophy?
After 2 matches, we will decide.
After 2 matches, or
Yes,
after?
sir.
But I think tomorrow match is going to be worse, right? It's going to be rain. Tomorrow is going to be rain, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
then after I say after 2 matches, we will decide.
but see, for winning the tournament, you need a good team, right? By talking to your good batting, right, good bowling, right. If one department, if you are good, then you can win 1 or 2 matches. But win the tournament, what you need? From every side, right? You should have good batting, you should have good fielding, and you should have good bowling. And but for me, I think India is good in batting only. Fielding is very.
Yes, sir. See, fielding this time, fielding is not good, and somehow we weak in bowling too.
Right, bowling is also not up to the mark.
Yes, sir.
Right. Let's hope India win this time.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
ठीक है चलो guys. ठीक है हम लोगों का कल सेशन होगा कि नहीं होगा मैं आपको बताऊंगा because most of the people are on leave.
Sir, if you are going to Diwali holiday, so please declare all days combined. So we can prepare
No,
myself.
I'm not going for any Diwali holiday. Diwali is on 24th, right?
Yes, sir.
So tomorrow is Sunday. So let's break. Okay, we will have class tomorrow or 24th is holiday.
Sir, please ask in group because I have no problem whether you want to teach on 24th, so I am ready because
No, 24th is I'm not going to teach 24th. It's a holiday, so we should enjoy
yes,
it.
sir. Yes, sir. So please ask in group because
No. Why I'm going to ask? Even I'm not interested to teach on 24th. Then why I'm going to ask? 24th is holiday.
yes, sir.
Okay, 23 tomorrow we are having class because we
Yes,
have
sir.
missed
Because
one
there
class.
are so many class missing and losses of the other people. So
Yeah, we need to cover up.
yes, sir.
And that class is going to be from 7 to 10 because the USA guys are unable to attend this time, right? From 9 to 12, it's very difficult for them to attend the session.
Okay, sir. So whatever is right, so please mention
Right?
in
So
group.
we can start the session as early as possible. So by 10, we should complete our session. It's going to be a 3-hour session again tomorrow from 7 to 10.
Yes, sir. 7 to 10. Okay, sir.
So I'm putting the message on the group and 24th is holiday.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Thanks, sir.